In this video, we're breaking down Leonardo DiCaprio's shocking box office flop, one battle after another. A movie that was supposed to be a masterpiece turned into one of Hollywood's biggest wake-up calls. What really went wrong? Let's uncover how this film failed to connect with audiences everywhere. Tom DiCaprio's new film, One Battle After Another, was supposed to be Hollywood's big proclamation. A prestige release that would secure wins not just on the box office charts, but in the cultural narratives Hollywood wants to dominate. Instead, it flopped in a way nobody saw coming. That failure isn't just a financial misstep. It's a sign, a signal that maybe mainstream America is rejecting what the elites expected us to swallow. A few months ago, people were already championing One Battle After Another as a guaranteed hit. Leo plus director Paul Thomas Anderson equals box office gold. But the actual numbers tell a much different story. With a domestic opening around $22 million and a global take of $48.5 million, this thing cratered out of the gate. And that's before accounting for a production cost rumored between $130 to $175 million, plus massive promotional expenses. Even with tax credits, the math doesn't favor escape. What's more, the marketing spin was already in overdrive. Critics praising it, trade outlets calling it solid, box office analysts spinning early numbers into hype. But spin doesn't equal success when the audience doesn't show up. No matter how much media tries to massage the data, at the end of the day, the numbers don't lie. And the numbers say they misjudge the audience. But this is about more than a flop. It's deeper than ticket sales. This was supposed to be ideological theater, a message movie for Hollywood's left. One that glorifies anti-establishment extremism, that paints a certain kind of activism as heroic. Critics and insiders alike have described it as a rallying cry for groups like Antifa, or as a far-left allegory dressed in cinematic ambition. That's a lot for audiences to swallow when it's marketed as entertainment. The timing couldn't have been worse. Released just after a national tragedy, it felt tone-deaf, and placing it front and center amid intense political polarization meant the margins would punish it. It was never going to be neutral. The film invited your judgment from minute one, and mainstream viewers already made theirs. Digging deeper, you start to see a pattern. This kind of film almost always plays well in blue markets and with coastal elites, but struggles in red counties or less culturally progressive areas. For One Battle After Another, about 73% of its limited box office came from blue counties. Only 27% came from red ones. That imbalance suggests the movie was preaching to its base, not designing to appeal broadly. The title One Battle After Another wasn't just thoughtful, it was punitive. The narrative pushes a worldview, that the only fights that matter are the ones Hollywood wants to amplify, that mainstream audiences aren't wrong, they're uninitiated. And when those intended audiences reject the message in force, the film crashes. So what broke this movie? Not a lack of stars, not even bad reviews. It was overconfidence in a cultural narrative that many Americans are rejecting. They're tired of being lectured to. They're tired of propaganda disguised as cinema, and they're turning off. Leo's name alone can't carry a message that people don't want to hear. Hollywood's money and prestige can't protect a film that ignores real audience preferences. This was meant to be a victory lap, but instead it's a wake-up call. Audiences voted with their wallets, and the verdict was harsh. In a world where filmmakers and studios believe moralizing narratives will always win hearts, One Battle After Another demolished that hubris. Hollywood elites thought they could package radical activism, mask it under the guise of art, and expect mass buy-in. They expected applause. Instead, they got silence, or worse, rejection. This isn't just about Leo or PTA or political backlash. It's about the widening disconnect between Hollywood's corridors of power and the broader American public. Once, the cultural elites were trendsetters. Now those trends often skip over large swaths of viewers. When a film like this fails, it's not just a commercial disappointment, it's a cultural gulf laid bare. Fans expect stories, characters, conflict, emotion. They want to be moved, not lectured. They want escape, not guilt trips. One Battle After Another tried to do both, and ended up doing neither. This flop is a turning point. It's proof that even the most star-studded, hype-driven, ideologically heavy project can't survive if it underestimates how people will respond. It can't survive when it dismisses the intelligence, the taste, and yes, the values of large swaths of its intended audience. Let's be clear, failure of a film doesn't always signal cultural change, but the scale and heartbreak of this particular failure, that's something else. It's not incidental, it's a message. Hollywood's elite thought one battle after another would be their next weapon in shaping culture. Instead, it became a monument to overreach. Because ultimately, people don't want to be told what to believe. They want to be invited to feel, to question, to connect. And movies that come in hammering narratives rarely endure. So here's the takeaway. Whether you love or hate this kind of film, whether you agree with its politics or not, see what this moment reveals. Hollywood depends on narratives, but narratives depend on audience trust. Lose the trust and you lose the audience. This isn't simply a flop. It's Hollywood getting a mirror held up to its own miscalculations. It's proof that prestige, propaganda, and star power aren't enough when real people vote with real dollars. One Battle After Another was not just defeated at the box office. It was rejected by the culture it assumed it had already won. And that's the story of One Battle After Another, a reminder that even the biggest stars can have setbacks. Maybe it's not the end for Leonardo DiCaprio, but just another lesson in an incredible career. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more Hollywood deep dives.